Всем привет, ребята! Вы на канале Lady D, и с вами Динара Кадырниязова. Спасибо, что вы со мной, спасибо, что смотрите этот эфир. А сегодня мы будем в гостях у одного человека, у уникального человека, который является и художником, и владельцем ресторана, а также он имеет 25-летний стаж в сфере моды и индустрии. В общем, очень такой оригинальный, очень такой разносторонний мужчина, с которым я хочу сегодня встретиться и взять у него интервью. Сейчас он расскажет о своей жизни. Специально для этого я приехала в Нью-Рошелл. Это апстейт Нью-Йорк, где-то в 20-30 майлах от Нью-Йорка. Но, несмотря на это, я решилась, потому что это будет очень интересно, оно того стоит. Будьте со мной, подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки. Поехали! Hi, Alvin. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Come in.
Thank you. This is Alvin's restaurant here. So, can you tell me about your restaurant, about yourself a little bit, so people can?
So I'm Alvin Clayton. I'm a restaurateur. I'm an artist, and I'm also a former model, soon to be. I just actually signed a new modeling contract with IMG Modeling Agencies in New York. But the restaurant here, Alvin&friends, has been open for 10 years, going on 11. We're Caribbean and Southern fine dining restaurant. We've accumulated several awards for what we do here. We've gotten the Best of Westchester. We're in Westchester, of course. So we've gotten the Best of Westchester 9 out of the 10 years that we've been open. We have a very high score in Zagat, and we're a very exclusive restaurant with a very diverse clientele and great food and great ambiance and great hosts. That's me.
So just a little bit story about why you decide to open your restaurant, because I know that you're an artist and you're also like doing modeling. It's like totally different sphere of job. So why you choose this?
Yeah.
How you come
to
this?
Well, after I was a soccer player and got drafted. The NASL, which was the Outdoor Soccer League, folded. So then I moved to New York. I actually got signed by the Wilhelmina Modeling Agency. I was a Wilhelmina model for several years. Then I was signed by Ford Modeling Agency. I was a Ford model for many years. And having been off the regular workforce, I knew I had to create something for myself.
So this is a picture of Alvin.
I was at Ford Modeling Agency.
Modeling agency. How many years ago?
Well, I modeled for 25 years with Ford. And now I just got re-signed with IMG Modeling Agency.
Wow, they are calling you to be a model again?
Yes.
Wow, super cool. Where is gonna be?
So IMG is the modeling agency in New York City on 23rd Street, I believe, Park Avenue. And they're like one of the largest modeling agencies in the world. They represent more than just models. They represent people with platforms. So I believe that they're interested in me because of my modeling experience in the past, plus my art endeavors, plus my restaurants. I'm a restaurateur, artist, and a model.
Okay, that's cool. Glad to hear.
So, I couldn't start in a company from ground zero. I knew how to cook. I learned cooking from my grandmother. I'm originally from Trinidad. And, so I knew I had to create something for myself. I got invested in a restaurant in Los Angeles called Georgia, which was a celebrity-based restaurant. Some of our partners were Denzela Washington, Debbie Allen, and a few other celebrities. Brad Johnson was the head of it. And so I learned back of the house operation of the restaurant from Brad Johnson and my experience in Georgia. I always wanted to do my own restaurant because I just felt that there's something that I could add to the hospitality that guests have when they come into the restaurant. And so 11 years ago, I opened Alvin&friends. We started in a small location with 40-seater. We got a great review from the New York Times and Zagat, and now the new location, 14 Memorial Highway, is where we've been able to grow the restaurant and continue to sustain even in these hard times of COVID. We're at some challenging times right now, but we have a great clientele that comes in. They understand what we do for the community. They want to support us. And by the grace of God, we're still open. So every day open is a good day. It is a tough time for restaurants all over right now, but I'm happy, every day that we're open, and every day we come in, we're gonna do the best that we can do. But that's how I got into the restaurant industry.
That's very interesting that the whole life you met so many things that one person even can do it. So that's very impressive. I have a question. Can you share the moment or people that affect on your life?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I'm an immigrant from Trinidad, and my mom came to the United States first, and when she came here, my brothers and sisters, we lived with my grandmother, and my grandmother was probably the most influential person in my life, and the restaurant is actually a big part of it because my grandmother was probably one of the most hospitable people that I know. I mean, I remember there was never anyone that came into our home that she didn't offer them something, have some tea, have some biscuits or whatever. So I think the way that I treat this restaurant, is the same way I learned from her. When people are here, they're my guests and I want them to have the best experience ever. So that's why I go to the tables and I greet them. Sometimes people will finish and I take them over a little something. I sit down and I talk with them. I think I learned that from my grandmother. She was so personable and hospitable. I learned to cook from her. So I can go into the kitchen and cook anything in the kitchen. I'm a product of her, And then when I lived in Los Angeles, another person that's influential in my life is the actor Roscoe Lee Brown. Roscoe and I became very good friends, and we had a tradition which I actually miss to this day. Whenever he came to New York, the first thing that he did was make a call to me, and we'd go and see whatever the current Broadway play was, and then
awesome.
It was so great. And then after we'd go backstage and we'd meet the actors because he was such a thespian himself, and then we'd have dinner. There was a restaurant called Jezebel's. We'd have dinner there or Joe Allen, and that was a tradition that we did for many years. It's funny because the two people that were so influential in my life, I have paintings of them. So they actually adorn my bar. So on one side I have my grandmother, and on the other side I have Roscoe Lee Brown. So talking about the art, actually, this is based off of Henri Matisse, The Dance. And it was one of the first paintings that spoke to me that I fell in love with. And so what I did, my take on it was the actual painting, all nude Caucasian dancers in this exact formation. But what I did and I took away from it was the vibrancy, the intimacy of color and everything else. And I added that to my painting. And it's really a representation of the restaurant because we have such a diverse clientele here at Alvin&friends in New Rochelle that this painting has become the signature piece of the restaurant. And with all the things that's going on right now in the world, with people being so divided, I think it's really a beautiful show of unity and harmony between people of different ethnicities. So I love this piece.
Thank you. So I remember you said that you start selling your one of the
my
paintings,
work.
your work.
Yeah, no, I sell my work. I actually have galleries that represent my work, Los Angeles and Chicago. And also people buy the work from me here. I've had a lot of one-man show.
Approximately, like how much is it, one of your, for example, work?
So it ranges. It starts from $1,000 to as much as $30,000, depending. I paint very large pieces also. I have pieces that are 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet paintings. So it depends on what the subject matter is, how much work has gone into it. And based on my past experiences and the collectors that I have and the places that my work has appeared, it dictates the prices.
How long usually take the one job?
It depends. I mean, I'm passionate about the pieces. I see all the colors right away, so it's in my head. So it's basically just putting things in place. And so, it can take me from as little as 3 days to a week and a half, depending on the painting that I'm doing at the time. And most of these paintings are family members and friends. Yeah, so I paint what I love, what I like, and it becomes very easy that way.
All right, I see. I see that looks like the people that you showing in the pictures is like the people that you met before, or that.
Yeah, they're family members and friends. I paint my kids. I paint my wife. I paint my aunts. I paint my mom. I paint customers.
Now I'm famous, right?
I paint customers that come in. So it's my experiences. And
so
that
you do that
personal.
by yourself or because of the request?
No, I do it on my own. I paint what I love, and I think that's the passion. And I think if you could actually find what you love doing and have people to buy onto it, that's the best. That's the best success that you can have.
True. Yeah. So if someone gonna come to you and ask, can you do this job for me by?
Yeah. Well, people have asked me to do commissions, and for me, because it's so personal what I do, I have to know the person and get a feel for who they are in order for me to really paint them. And I tell them I paint them the way that I express myself and the way that I see them. So, it's like everybody sees themselves a certain way. People have asked me, how did you come up with the name Alvin&friends? And, I have some investors that are friends, but the real drive behind that name was the best dinners I've ever had have been with friends. And it's not about what you're eating or whatever. It's just about the camaraderie of breaking bread together and being in an environment where you have an experience that you'd remember for years. You may not remember what you guys ate, but you remember the conversations that you had, how you felt, how comfortable you were.
Okay. And I think you mentioned before that your restaurant was on the top of the Times Square, New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times reviewed us and they gave us 4 out of 4 stars when we first opened. So that was a big help for our restaurant.
Sure,
yeah. And, so I'm really proud of that, and we work really hard to really give people a complete dining experience. It's also a very inclusive restaurant because we have on our menu we have things for vegans, we have vegetarian options. We don't have everything fried. We have a very eclectic menu with Caribbean and Southern flavors, but we're very inclusive of the diners that come here, and we pay attention to everyone's needs.
It's not easy to meet even in New York or LA when you're at street. You can meet the famous and celebrities, but it's not that easy to communicate with them, to stay with them as a friends. How you made it, because of your modeling experience? Or?
Well, I think when you meet people, regardless if they're celebrities or not, there has to be a connection. When you think of people that are friends, there's some type of connection. There's something in common that people have. I think, I've become friends with celebrities because first of all, I don't see them as being other than me, So there's not this super fan type mentality. I feel like being a successful model, that somewhere in my own rights, I have that, I've done some of the things that they've done. They've seen my work, I've seen their work. And at the end of the day, it's people. I'm not impressed by what your job is. I'm impressed with what you do as a person. And I think if you communicate on that level, it becomes much easier for you to connect with someone. And if they like you as a person, that's, what they continue to hold on to.
I know that you have a picture with Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
and you're like, kind of like so similar that you look like as brothers or so identical. And I know people so many times they were like confusing.
It's so funny because when I think when we were both younger, Denzel was younger and I was younger, we kind of favored each other. And so he was partners with us at the restaurant in Los Angeles. So for some reason when I lived in LA, if I went to a certain restaurant or if I was in a certain setting in Los Angeles and people looked over, they would be like, oh, they thought that I was Denzel. There's been situations that I've been in where people thought that I actually was Denzel. People are silly about the whole celebrity thing. It's like, at the end of the day, people are people. Some people have different jobs and, make a lot more money. But at the end of the day, like I said, if somebody doesn't have the character or moral fiber of who you want to be as a person, it doesn't matter to me. It's like, that's okay. I met so and so. Fine. Let's keep it moving.
Okay. Glad to hear. Thank you for sharing that story. That's very interesting.
I'd love for anybody looking, and if you're interested in what I'm doing, and here at Alvin&friends, or just in general with the new endeavor on the modeling career, follow me on
Instagram?
Alvin Clayton official on Instagram. All right.
So guys, stay safe and stay with me and with channel Lady D. And if you really enjoyed this video, please subscribe and press the like button. Hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Peace out.
Yep.